Welcome to the Rich Lady Revolution, Redefining Rich with Diane McKendrick. Hey, lovely lady, I see you. You're an ambitious, high-achieving woman, driven, passionate, and ready for more. More money, more impact, more freedom. This is the place where women just like you come together from all over the world to break the old rules and redefine what it truly means to be rich. Because being a rich lady is about so much more than money. Joining the Rich Lady Revolution with those two sisters is about more than the money in your bank account. It's about building wealth on your terms, doing what you love, with who you love, and creating a life that feels as good as it looks. It's about stepping into your unshakable power and purpose. This podcast, combined with my 5th book, is your personal invitation to step into your rich lady identity. I will be here to educate, inspire, and empower you along the way, to support you to cut the crap, do the thing, and be the rich lady you were born to be. So if you are ready to elevate your income, your impact, and your life, the revolution starts now. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Rich Lady Revolution, Redefining Rich. I'm your host, Diane McKendrick, and today we're deep diving into something that every woman in business needs to hear before stepping into any event space. Whether you're running an event, attending an event, facilitating it, keynote speaking, it's what I call event energetics. And I'm going to walk you through exactly how I prepare myself from behind the scenes before I attend any event, whether I am there as an attendee, a guest speaker or a keynote speaker, or the main facilitator. After running countless events and crewing for over hundreds of other events for expert industry leaders and refining this over years of trial and error, through burnout and breakthroughs, this is now the protocol that keeps me grounded, magnetic, and aligned without needing a full week to recover. Because in the past, when I had held or attended events, to be truthful and honest, I would end up in bed for a week after because it just took so much out of me. And as I was watching other industry leaders do this and I started to crew for them, I started to observe and watch not just the logistics and the running of the event and the during event magic. It's like, how are these ladies preparing themselves before the event, prior to the event, and then how are they delivering and what's the energetic hygiene like through the event, and then also watch what happened on the return from the event. So today I'm gifting you a sneak peek inside phase 1. So this is the podcast specifically is delivering on my personal protocol for when you're going to an event as an attendee, because there's several different layers to this. If you're a keynote speaker like I am, if you're running your own retreats, if you're going to be the retreat facilitator, there's more, so much more added onto this, but I needed to break it down, and we're starting with it as the personal protocol for the attendee, so we can really do the groundwork. We can anchor in some of these things that I'm going to share here with you today and within the personal protocol checklist. So you can start to do them when the pressure's not on, when you're just attending an event and you're going and you're having fun. You can practice these things. They'll be anchored into your daily life and become your new normal. So then when you're running events, and facilitating them, or you're going in as a keynote speaker and there's so much more pressure, or you're hosting the whole event like we are, in a month's time, we've got one of our biggest events ever, which is our book launch. I've never done a book launch. So I've got 5 books that I'm launching on the 14th of June. And I got 30 co-authors coming to that event. I've got several referral partners coming to that event. I've got so many clients coming to that, past, present, and possible future clients. Like, it's going to be pretty much an enormous, massive celebration. And both my sister and I are preparing and planning for that event. And we go through this protocol every single time. We've done nearly, facilitated and hosted nearly 30 retreats now. And we go through this every single time. And my clients were coming to me and saying, how do you do it? I see you out there all the time, attending events, running events, keynote speaking. It wouldn't be unusual for us to be out 3 or 4 times a week. I was out 3 days last week, event like a back-to-back events. And I noticed when people kept asking me about this and how I do it, that I've got some really powerful protocols and processes that I personally follow that now I'm putting into a checklist and a framework so I can deliver it and share it with you. So if you are running events, you've ever attended an event or run an event and you've been exhausted after it, then this is the one for you. So we're going to give you a sneak peek inside of phase one, which is my personal protocol like from the attendee point of view. So if you're heading into an event soon, or even if you've felt that flat energy after an event, this is the invitation to shift the way that you show up forever. It's going to make such a difference in your life. So the first thing I would recommend that you do listening to this podcast is book an event. Book an event right now, like even press pause on the podcast, go through Facebook, look up our website, see what we've got coming, whether it's online or offline. This is for both, but I'm going to use it offline for now, but you can pretty much duplicate it over to anything online. Obviously, it's easier when it's online because you're usually in your home environment. You've got all your things around you. It's very familiar environment. You're not having to deal with getting dressed, getting out in the car, finding a different location, being around everybody else's energy, entering a room you've never entered before, all those things. So yeah, this is based on specifically in-person events, but can also be used for online. So step number one is pause this, go on book in, come to our book launch. There is a handful of tickets left, $77 a ticket, plus an option for a $47 upgrade where you're going to get so many incredible things valued at over $300. If the time is that you're listening to this podcast is after June 14, then the book launch will be been and gone. But there will always be other events, both online and offline, as you know, because Michelle and I run retreats. We run Kuan Rise and Surrender Kuan Yin events every month at Springfield, and a bunch of other things that you can go to our website to find out. So phase one, let's go. Book the event. Step one, book the event. Okay. Now, I am just going to open up on my computer my event energetics blueprint. And I'm basically verbally going to take you through this. This is what I do personally every single time I attend an event, and I built it out over the last several years of trial and error. So Diane's personal protocol as the attendee. This is for the woman. This is probably you who wants to show up energetically prepared, intentional, and in alignment to avoid that after event exhaustion, crash, or come down. So the very first thing as part of the checklist is a bit more of the logistical things, because I had to learn this the hard way as well. In order for things to flow, you need some structure. And I fought against this for years and years and years and years until Michelle came on board in the business, and sort of gently gave me a little poke and prodding and said, your freedom is directly related to the amount of structure that you can put in place. So the structure that we put in here in the checklist, and it's here in black and white, I'm looking at it right now, is the details. What's the name of the event? You write it in this part. There's a place for you to write it in. Name of the event date, the location, the time commitment, and then any info that you're going to need on that event. If you need to go look it up, or if you've got a team working for you, all that information is there. Now, the next part of this process is important as the attendee in phase one, but not as important if you are facilitating or keynote speaking or running the event. This is the timeline overview. So still super important as an attendee, but if you're listening to this because you're facilitating or running events, and I'll do a phase 2 and 3 down the track. We'll go deeper into this, but we'll keep it pretty surface level as an attendee because there's just so much less to consider energetically, physically, emotionally, mentally when you're just rocking up as an attendee, right? So you need the timeline overview, which is basically the phase of the event. And I've broken that down into 3 phases. You have pre-event, the during event, like while you're there, and the post-event. Now, this is something a lot of people don't do. When you are attending an event, I want you to actually write in the date of what you would consider the pre-event. So if it's an attendee, it's usually just a day or two out. For an example, I've got an event coming up on this Friday, and I've sort of started to work this out. So pre-event dates from to, because there's a very specific energy, and the energy focus for the pre-event is, write this down if you've got pen and paper, alignment, preparation, and grounding. So that is the intention and the energy focus for pre-event. We want alignment, preparation, and grounding. So there's a space here you write in that starts. So for example, if you're coming to the book launch, which is on the 14th of June, if you live locally, it might be 2 days before. So you would put the 12th of June and to the 14th of June, and that's all the pre-event energy, alignment, preparation, grounding. Once again, just going to say it, if you are facilitating or keynote speaking at an event, this goes way deeper and you're going to need a lot more time for the alignment, preparation, and grounding, and that might be 2 weeks out. For example, with our retreats that we run, my pre-event is 1 month out. 4 weeks out, I get into pre-event energy. I start alignment, preparation, and grounding. And then, so the first date is you choose it, the 2 weeks out, the 1 month out, consider that, choose it, and then you put the other date there is the day that it starts. And then the next part of this is during event. So the dates for the during event will be from the moment it starts to the day that it finishes. So if it's a 1-day event or a half-day event, that's pretty self-explanatory. If it's a retreat that you're attending, if you're coming along to one of our retreats, we've got Energetics of Business coming up 19th to the 22nd of June. Yes, it's the week after the book launch because we have international clients coming, and I did that on purpose in my pre-event energy because I wanted the ladies that were coming from overseas and interstate to be able to come to both events. Can you see why this is so important? So during event, pick the dates. If it's the retreat or something like that, it's going to be the day it starts and the day it finishes. So for example, Energetics of Business starts on the 19th, so you would write the 19th to the 22nd. And the energy and intention, energy focus and intention for the during event energetics is presence, observation, and connection. Write that down if you've got a pen and paper. It is all written here on the checklist, and I'm going to tell you how to get the checklist later. And then the third part of this is post-event. Now, I created this because after running retreats, I was noticing women's frequency go through the roof at the retreat, and then they were coming home, going back to their job. And I actually created a whole module called the After Retreat Comeback to basically overcome the crash, to overcome the come down and make it a comeback where you're really claiming that new frequency and claiming that new identity. So the post-event energy focused and intention is all about integration, reflection, and nurturing the activation of the identity that you become while you're away at that event. Now, this can work in a half-day event, it can work in a couple of hours event, it can work in a day or two, or the retreats. So there you go. You're going to have a timeline overview, and that's there ready to go. The next thing that you're going to do is I'm going to take you through some journal prompts or things to think about. I've broken it down into the Divine Hypnotics method for teaching purposes. So we're going to go through the brain, which is the mental prep. And then we're going to look at the body, which is the physical and nervous system prep, which most people miss because it's different to what you're doing from a day to day. And then we're going to look at the being, which is energetic and emotional anchoring. So I'll move through this quite quickly because if you would like a copy of this, if you would like a copy of the journal prompts and my personal protocol, send me a message on Instagram or Facebook saying Diane's personal protocol, events, energetic, and you'll get the journal prompts and you'll get the checklist. So the brain, the mental prep, these are the thoughts, beliefs, and mindset pieces that you want to bring into your consciousness and awareness before the event. I utilize events as a massive personal development thing, not just the pre and leading up to it. Not just the event and the personal development and the content that you're being taught, but the whole unseen thread of the energetics of the mental prep, the physical nervous system. Like it gives you, attending events just gives you so much more than you could ever imagine because it's all unseen. So the brain, the mental prep, the thoughts, beliefs, mindset pieces that you want to bring into consciousness and awareness before the event. So a few questions you can ask yourself about this is, what is the story I'm telling myself about this event? Now, every single one of you will have a story about it, but it may not have popped into your consciousness and it sits in your unconscious and just festers away. It's like a tab that's open on a computer, taking up energy, draining the electricity or draining the energy. And we need to close that tab. And the way that you close that tab is actually tell yourself, what story am I telling myself about this event? So an example of that is I went to 2 events last week. One was I've won the Lord Mayor's grant for businesswomen. And as I was attending that event, the story I was telling myself about that now, because I've done this work, is that it's an incredible event. There's over 100 people there, all really high caliber businesswomen, and I belong here. I'm so excited to meet these other women, hear from these other women, form some friendships, hear from other incredible entrepreneurs. They had great guest speakers. In contrast to what I would have been thinking, last year or even just a couple of years ago, I was like, oh my God, I don't deserve to be here. All these ladies are so much better than me. I've got nothing to wear. I never really look the part. Like, yeah, in the last couple of years, that's what was sitting in my unconscious mind. And that was why I was getting so exhausted. That tab was open because the story I was telling myself in my unconscious mind about the event was like, I don't fit. I'm not pretty enough. I don't speak as well as these ladies, blah, 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 blah. Now, the thing you've got to remember here is, whatever is sitting in the unconscious mind or the beliefs is what will be created. Because the new belief for me, because I've done this process so many times, is that I belong and I'm excited. Guess what? I did 3 events back to back this week and I got asked to speak at every single one of them. Ended up with a microphone in my hand, sharing in front of each event 100 or more of my perfect clients. Do you think that would have happened if the story I was telling myself about the event was, oh, I don't deserve to be here. These women are smarter than me, prettier than me. So we want to switch that intimidation for inspiration. So what story are you telling yourself about the event? What would it look like to show up fully present, open, and magnetic? And journal or think about that while I'm speaking to you. Do I need to reframe or dissolve through my fear neutralization process, which the ladies in the Rich Lady Revolution, the membership, have access to, or you can book in a session with me for $500. Reframe or dissolve any fears or doubts. So think about the event, go through, write down fears or doubts. I'm not going to fit in. No one's going to like me. I don't know anybody. I'm scared of standing in the corner by myself, blah, blah, blah. Write them all down. Have I set a clear and soul aligned intention? So please ensure you always set an intention. We set intentions in our Queen's Club every single freaking day. But so important when you're going out and about and at events to set those clear soul aligned intentions. And then what support systems do you have in place for that event? A lot of my queens, when they're going to events or holding events, have direct access to me in the Queen's Club. So they've got a direct line of contact to me to coach them through anything. Have you got a support person there? Can you go with a friend? A couple of ladies that are coming to the book launch next month, who I met at these last few events in the last couple of days, is like, oh, can I bring a friend? So they're coming as an attendee and probably without realizing they're going through this process, go, I feel a little bit uncomfortable going to an event where I don't know anyone apart from Di, who's going to be up on stage. Can I bring a friend? So of course, just make sure your support person is in place. So a bit of a bonus practice here, and all this is written, like I said, in the workbook. Listen to those 2 sisters, Divine Hypnotics, or a podcast episode like this one or something else that I've created that inspires and grounds you before you arrive. That's the key. Inspire and ground you before you arrive, because this becomes your anchor energy for the day. Next part of the process is all around the body, the physical and nervous system prep. So this is the part most people skip, and it's why they burn out, they get overwhelmed, or they crash after the event. You'll glide into the event calm, nourished, prepared. So ensuring things like your sleep, not just the night before, but in the nights leading up to it. 2, move your body gently and walk, stretch, or dance because our timelines are all over the place when we're running events, and that's part of the exhaustion is you're out of routine. So we need to somehow create or form a little bit of routine that calms your central nervous system. Another thing people don't think about is hydration. Both Michelle and myself always pack a water bottle and an extra water bottle, or know where we can get water from somewhere close by. Uh, Not so much as an attendee, but when we're facilitating events, we also have support people on board who are deep. When we're given the brief at the beginning of the event, someone's job is to keep us hydrated, like bring us water as we're delivering, as we're speaking. It's like written into the protocol, the crew protocol. Nourishing food. Sometimes people forget about their food. Michelle and I will often take our own food. So please I just pack a little esky bag. I keep it under a table, sneak out the back. I eat my boiled eggs or my tuna, or, worst case scenario, you just got a smoothie there because you need to stabilize your blood sugars. Otherwise, you forget to eat, you forget to drink, and all that plays such an enormous part in, coming home and then picking up the day after. Also, your transport, please ensure that you know how you're getting there and getting home because that all adds stress and the space before and after the event. So, what I would recommend here with the body is plan your morning as close to your normal routine as possible, because what that does is it signals safety to your nervous system. I want you to remember that routine equals regulation. So, you sometimes need to find little routines in amongst little routines to help that central nervous system feel safe. And then the being and the energetic emotional anchoring. This is the energetic set point that you carry in with you, your frequency, your presence, your inner calm, so ensure I'll often do EFT tapping as I'm driving, as I'm walking in the door, EFT tapping. I protect myself, the energy of protecting my own field. And there's a process that I take the ladies through to show them how to do that before they walk into the room and as they leave the room. There's also an energetic process I do with the whole room. Once again, this is not just when I'm facilitating, this is also as an attendee. And I choose an identity before I walk into that room. Who am I going to walk in as today? What new identity am I claiming for myself? The rich lady, redefining rich, the magnetic connector, the confident queen. Make sure that's written down in your journal saying, I'm embodying this energy and this identity when I walk in that door today. Practice it with people. Half of these people, or more than half of these people, have never met you. They don't know what you look and sound like. So practice different identities. It's pretty powerful. And yeah, just go through a process. I go through a process where I call back my energy. If I've sent myself off into the future, what's happening after, or how am I going to get home, or what's for dinner, or the past, trying to get there, trains, planes, buses, automobiles sometimes can be can be a lot. So just ensuring you're doing that meditation before you walk into the room so you're grounded and centered before you walk in. So that's the embodying tip, is drop into your body before you enter the room and do your protection process to ensure your body and your field is protected, because when we're out and about with a lot of people, that can be exhausting, particularly for sensitive, shy, or quiet people, introverts. When you're around a lot of people, if you have not protected your energy field, it's like people plug into you, even if it's not intentional, and it's like just drains you. And by the end of the day, you're just exhausted. So yeah, there's so much. So that's a big part of the journal prompts. You can just move through all of those. And then I just want to come back to the blueprint and go through quickly other things that you can be doing. Remembering, if you just want a copy of these, you would hear it now. You'll see it when you get a copy of the checklist. Please just send me an Instagram or Facebook message to Diane McKendrick and say, Diane, event energetics, personal protocol, please, for the attendee. This is phase 1 attendee. So every single time I go to an event, and once again, I didn't used to do this. I'm so glad that I've worked it out now. Step number 1 for the pre-energetics is you've got to do an alignment check. An alignment check. I did a quick Instagram story on this today. When I was a beginner and I first started out, and my coach said, go to as many networking events as you can. So here I was running around like a blue-ass fly with a chook with its head cut off, going to every single networking event. And I just started thinking and feeling like something doesn't fit here. something doesn't feel right. And I realized that it was me. I'm sitting in rooms that are just not my people, not my tribe, crapping on about something I didn't even care about. I mean, even remember as a young 20-year-old, I went to meetings for tow truck drivers and was taking the minutes because I got paid $30 a pop or something like that, right? And with what I know now, that is not the best or the right environment for a young woman. First, they're all dudes, they're all tow truck drivers, complete different industry, total lack of respect for each other, themselves, health not up there as one of their highest values. But I just used to sit there because it was, yeah, but just something didn't fit and it was me. So I want you to check for alignment. Ask yourself the questions: is this event in energetic alignment with my values, my goals, and my mission? Do you think, even though I was getting paid $30, maybe it was 50, who knows, it wasn't very much, to take the minutes for this tow truck meeting, do you think that was in alignment with my values, goals, and mission? Knowing me now, I do love to meet people and I love watching the patterning of people's behavior. But every single time I left that event, I just was exhausted. I had to come home and have a nap. And a big part of that was one, because I didn't know what I know now. But two, it wasn't in alignment with my values, goals, and mission. So please, 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 please just scan and check for alignment. Are the people running it in integrity for what I stand for? So even if the community is in alignment with you, is the person running it someone that you trust and somebody that you align with? So just yes, no, or not sure, and you might have to explore that further. The next thing is a self-worth check. This is absolutely going to blow your mind and change your whole entire life. Now, what I want you to do, and this is every event, even if you are coming to my book launch on the 14th of June, please do this. The event, step one was book into an event. Go through this process with me now. So you're going to check that event for alignment. Using the book launch as the example, check it for alignment. Think about me, think about Michelle. You probably see in our community, do I align with these girls? Is it in alignment with my values, goals, and mission? If it is, get a tick first off. Second one is the self-worth check. So on a scale from 1 to 10, how worthy do you feel attending this event? And I'll do this every single time, because if it's below, okay, so 1 is feeling like an outsider. I don't fit. I'm so scared. 10 is I feel deeply worthy to be here. If it's not a 5 to a 10, then you need to do some work on that and maybe go and listen to my pedestaling, the Silent Energy Leak podcast, which is episode 216. I think it's the one before this. Seriously, go and listen to that, because you want to dissolve that and balance that out and harmonize that before you go to this event where you don't feel worthy of being here. I'm going to share a little story here. I had a bit of work to do on this one. So a referral partner of mine, Henry Wong, who's the #1 real estate in Brisbane, deals with intergenerational wealth, very wealthy man, and a mentor to me. And he calls me all the time, 20 to 8, must be after his gym workout, and connects me with lots of referral partners. Anyway, calls me one day and he says, Diane, do you like luxury cars? And I was like, no, Henry, I don't really like luxury cars, which I think is quite funny, because most people are like, yeah, cool, I love luxury cars. So I was like, no, I don't like luxury cars. Basically, I need something like, we go motorbike riding, it needs to tow the boat, I need to be able to go camping. And he said, oh, okay, well, do you have clients or friends that like luxury cars? I said, I have plenty of friends and plenty of clients that like luxury cars. Henry, why is that? Why are you asking? And he said, because I've got a ticket here for our luxury BMW day in 2 weeks' time, and I would like to invite you to come as my guest. Anyway, I got off I'm like, can my sister come? Support person. Can I call a friend? He's like, yeah, of course. Called Michelle. She's like, not my thing, not going. And I had to really do some work around this, because Henry is a very wealthy man. I had no idea who else was going to this event. I thought it might have been another bunch of very wealthy men, and I might be the only woman in the room. And I just got the other thing that I didn't feel worthy of is you got to drive these BMWs. So a bit of a backstory is you get to drive the BMWs to a winery in Mount Tamborine every half an hour, every 40 minutes. You change the BMW. They're all the highest range BMWs. And I'm thinking, okay, so I'm driving a BMW, which is so totally out of my identity. I'm rocking up to an event where I didn't know who was going or what type of people are going to be there. And when I asked myself this question on a scale from 1 to 10, how worthy do I feel attending this event? And let me tell you, it was down like a 2 or 3. Guess why? One, because there was a lot of uncertainty, and two, because I'd pedestaled the people or the possible people that I was going to go with. Oh, if they're in a BMW, they earn so much more money than me. Oh, most of them are going to be guys. I'm pedestaling rich, wealthy guys. They're better than me. So I did what I'm teaching you in podcast 216, the one before this. And I tell you what, I went to that event and I owned my self-worth and what I brought to the table. And I had a beautiful, comfortable outfit on, which I'm going to go through with you later. And I met the most insanely amazing, incredible people. And as a side note and a bonus, as I actually drove into the dealership because they get to wash, I drive a Triton, big white Triton, and I drove in all these BMWs, fancy cars, shiny around me. First person I see is one of my best friends who was also invited to come on the day. So I was like, yes. And we shared a car together and just had the best time swapping over, driving cars, went out to the winery for lunch. I met the sales rep at BMW, quizzed him, talked about him, learned about high-end sales. I think I sold him through my blogging a couple of BMWs and I really just fit in. And that's not because I'm awesome. It's because I owned my worth. And that could have been a very different outcome if I hadn't gone through this energetic protocol. So, on a scale from 1 to 10, how worthy do you feel attending this event? That has got to be a 5 to a 10, hopefully, because that is going to determine the experience that you have. And this is a big question. A lot of people, it's the unseen. People don't ask. They just rock up and wonder why they're exhausted when they go home. Okay, so that's enough on self-worth. I think you get the point. Number 3 is intention setting. Please ensure that you do this because if you don't do it, you're letting the day control you and take you where it wants to take you. Write a 1 to 2 sentence intention. I am attending this event too. My intention at this event is. Just get really clear why you're going to this event, what matters to you, what are your values, write it in your journal, put it in your brain. Like I said earlier, we do intentions every single day in the Queen's Club, and it really does make the difference. You truly see the people that commit to that and devote to that get outrageously rapid, sustainable results, whereas the ladies that are a little less committed to the simple, easy, accessible things struggle more with their energy. They struggle more with their consistency. They struggle more with lots of different things. So yeah, do the simple things well and you will feel your life change. Okay, that's number 3 is intention setting. Super simple, super easy. You can all do that. Step number 4 is structure. Once again, I mentioned this earlier. My sister told me for years the freedom comes from the structure. Hippie me was like, I don't want a structure. I don't want a timeline. But this will really protect your energy. Is the event booked and paid for? So make sure. I've rocked up to events recently. Looking for my name on the die. They're like, Di, you didn't buy a ticket. Because we've just got so many processes in our business now, and that's not part of my role. I tell my team I want to go to this event, but I can be a little bit slap happy sometimes. And I think like 2 events in the last month I've rocked up and like you don't have a ticket. That creates all sorts of stress for yourself. You're standing at the door, people are lining up. Just make sure, this is as much for me as for you guys. You booked your ticket, it's paid for. The second one here is it's clearly blocked in your calendar with travel time if needed. So I had a meeting with a possible referral partner in Brisbane, and it's on a Tuesday when I do all my delivery calls. And what I realized at the last minute, because I hadn't followed this structure to a T, learning the hard way as I do, is that people were booked in as I was driving. I needed 45 minutes to get there and probably an hour and a half to get home with the afternoon traffic. So I had to have my team go in and restructure all of that. In the past, I probably would have tried to do the calls while I was driving, but you know how hard it is to take calls and be present with someone while you're trying to listen to maps and get somewhere you're unfamiliar with. So please make sure that it's clearly blocked in your calendar with travel time if needed, and you've organize things like childcare, household support, the kids to be picked up. And like I said, have those client meetings shifted and arranged so you're not trying to drive and navigate and have coaching calls or have sales calls or have whatever calls or delivery calls. So important. And do I have all the logistics confirmed? The address, parking, accommodation if needed. I will often leave this to the morning of and allocate time to it because I'm a very visual person and I've got so much on. Some people often say, oh, what do you want to come to this event? It's in 2 weeks' time. I'm like, mate, I don't even know what I'm doing tomorrow. So I'll often That works for me. That does not work for Michelle. She needs to know days in advance because she's got a different personality to me. She's more organized than me. She's a single mum. She's got a different setup life. She needs to know days in advance where we're going, how we're getting there, what train or bus or plane or automobile leads to what. Whereas I freaking do it on the run. It doesn't bother me as much. However, I do notice when Michelle's not there, I'm that little bit more stressed because I'm less organized. So maybe that's something I can do better as well. Okay, step number 5 is strategy. You're probably all going to cringe when I say this, but it's so important. What is my connection or networking strategy? Like, why the freaking, if you're attending events, you want to go in and have great time and meet people and have memories, but you need an intention for connection or networking because ultimately, if you're a business person, an entrepreneur, that's why you're there. So, an example of that is I would love to meet one aligned referral partner. If I can meet one aligned referral partner, that could give me hundreds of perfect clients. So that's just an example, and you can choose yours of whatever feels good to you. That changes and shifts and flows depending on my season and cycle, the phase I'm at, that I'm in my business. But I just do make sure every time I go to an event, I choose that. Another one, this is not as much in like the pre-lead up to it, which is what we're talking about today, going as an attendee, but have I prepared a simple nurture strategy? So that, for an example, is a QR code to your calendar or a business card or an Instagram code to share. And now when you get the checklist, remember Facebook or Instagram me, events, energetics, personal protocol, please, Diane. In the checklist, there's actually a photo of the lanyard that both Michelle and I have that we wear around our neck at every event that we attend. And what that lanyard has on it on one side is a nice photo of us with all our details. And on the other side, there is a QR scan code on it that takes people to our free links page. So as we're chatting and talking, people are swapping business cards. That's all good and well. We just pick this thing up off from around our neck and say, scan this, enter your name and your details. And then what happens, if they're interested in what we're doing, then they're added to our database and they're set up straight away on a welcome nurturing sequence. So do you have that set up? Because there's nothing more exhausting than coming home from an event when you've been out all day. Most of you haven't eaten properly or haven't drunk enough water. And then you're picking the kids up and you're trying to organize dinner and you're just overcome with business cards. You've got 30 business cards falling out of your handbag here, there, and there. Which one's this and who was that and what was she telling me about? Which worked for me for a couple of years, but it was tiring and it took more time. So now it's all automated for us. If people show interest in who we are and what we do, which they often do because I enter the room most of the time, depending on how I'm feeling and if I've done this process, people want to know straight away who we are because we stand out. I've written and published 5 books now. And yeah, it's a positioning. People want to know. So if they ask, you've got to have it there, have it ready, and have it as automated as possible. So I know this is a little early in the sequence because we're going pre-event and it's an attendee thing, but yeah. Okay, number 6, we're nearly there. Style and presentation. People truly underestimate this as well. Choose and prepare. Have you chosen and prepared your clothes? Once again, Michelle, a bit more organized than me. She will do it days in advance. I literally, because of the way I operate, I need to wake up in the morning, allow myself time in the morning and go, what do I feel like wearing today? Because if I book it, choose it a week in advance, like some of my other friends and my sister do, I wake up in the morning and be like, I don't feel like wearing that. I'm not in a mood to wear a flowery dress. I want to wear leopard print today. So just know your personality and either choose it on the morning, allow yourself to have things prepared, washed, ironed, ready. Other people, I know one of my clients, beautiful Billy Sharp, her sister is like her personal stylist, and they will weeks in advance prepare everything from the pajamas to be on brand color to the earrings to the bras to the undies to match the several dresses when she has back-to-back speaking events. And that works for her. So you've got to find your style and find the way that works for you. Ask yourself, does what I'm wearing reflect my newest identity upgrade? Often we've got a closet full of clothes that's old identities. Speaking for myself, you bought the dress on sale or it was given to you by someone and it's on its last legs. Is that really embodying the identity that you've just chosen for yourself. And if it is, great. And if it's not, spend some time. I'm talking with somebody at the moment who's offering to personal style us and do all our colors. And yeah, I think you'll feel another upgrade when that happens for us. So just wherever you're at, does what I'm wearing reflect my newest identity upgrade? And then the other part of style and presentation is, do I feel comfortable and confident in my choices? This depends on your values. I've also got another friend, Sarah Cordner, who is a keynote speaker from all over the world, global, and she always looks 100% $1 million, $1 billion, right? She was just sharing with us in a Facebook group that she'd hit some milestone and she went and bought herself these beautiful shoes, well over $1,000 each for these gorgeous shoes. And I was thinking, at that price, are they comfortable? She's like, no, hell no, they're really uncomfortable, but they look good on stage and they're an embodiment of who she is and what she represents. And she loves glitz and glamour and beauty. Whereas someone like me with different values, comfort is my value. I always like to look well presented and nice, but my style is more sporty. Like almost every event that I go to, I don't know if you know this about me, but I will wear something and shoes so I can walk before or after the event. So all the events that I attended last week, I wore a nice outfit that was sporty enough for me to go for a 20-minute walk before and after the event so I could get my steps in. Just chucked my thongs on or chucked a pair of sneakers on and then changed my shoes to high heels when I got to the event. So that's totally up to you and it depends, but you've got to be comfortable and confident, know your values so you can dress appropriately. So a bonus prompt here is, what vibe do I want to embody through my presence and through my appearance? So you get really clear on that. And another really, really, really powerful question. I know we're getting close to the end here, but write this down if you've got a pen and paper, or log it in your brain if you're driving or listening to this while you walk. How do I want people to feel or remember me days or even months after the event? So you're having all these interactions with all these people at the event. How do you want them to remember you? And if you write that down, I can almost guarantee that's what's going to happen. Okay, and the final one is energy management. And I actually went through that in the being component, the energetic and emotional anchoring. So that is most of the blueprint. So we're going to give you a quick summary before I finished up. 3 distinct phases: pre-event, during, and post. Each one carries its own energetic weight. Most people only focus on during, what to wear, what to say, who they'll meet, but the energy starts, as I said earlier, the moment that you say yes to the ticket. And if you listen back, it's going to go through everything that you need to do to ensure that you're rocking up and showing up as your best self. So if you want a copy of my full checklist, the Event Energetics Personal Protocol that I use every single time, like I said, a couple of times I've made it available for you. So DM me on Instagram, Facebook or Instagram with the words Event Energetics Personal Protocol, and I will have it sent to you. It's in a checklist form and like a workbook of journal prompts, and it's be something that you can go through every single time. Then it becomes your normal. Then what happens is we go from an attendee to a keynote speaker or a facilitator, and that groundwork has been done, and we get to build on that. And that's what we do in the Queen's Club. That's what we do in the Rich Lady Revolution, the membership. So if you want to be surrounded by women who absolutely live and breathe this level of intention and alignment, then the place to be is, first option, the Rich Lady Revolution, the membership, $150 a month, and you get so much more community and content. And then at $497 a month is the Queen's Club. Now, the Queen's Club is only $497 a month until the 30th of June. From the 30th of June, it goes up to $997 a month. But if you can get in before the 30th of June 2025, you will secure that price for life at $497. Absolute no-brainer. So inside the Queen's Club this week, we're actually taking this deeper, and I'm going through the practical tools, the hot seat coaching, and the collective accountability. So come and be witnessed in your brilliance. Go through it with ladies. I've got the ladies booking in their events. Literally, as we speak, they're booking in their event. They're getting the checklist. They're getting the accountability piece, and I will be coaching them personally through their own experience of the Event Energetics Protocol. So I want you to remember this. Preparation is your power. Your energy is your strategy, and you get to attend every event as the most aligned, powerful, embodied version of yourself. So thank you for joining me today. I'm so excited to see most of you out at an event soon, and I'd love to get your feedback on this podcast. So please feel free to send me a message. Let me know your favorite parts, what you're going to start to implement, things that perhaps you hadn't thought of before that you're going to start doing now. Looking forward to meeting you out and about at an event soon. Wow, what an episode. Now here's the thing, knowledge is power, but action is where the magic happens. So if today's episode lit a fire in your belly and you're ready to cut the crap, do the thing, and step into the woman you were born to be, then I've got something special for you. Join us inside the Rich Lady Revolution, the membership. It's your next level support system and soul-powered strategy space to redefine what it means to be rich. Rich in profit, peace, presence, and power. This is your invitation to experience what it's like to be fully supported and deeply connected with a world-class coach and a community of high-caliber women who get it. Women just like you. Women walking the path of aligned success with no more burnout, no more sacrifice, and absolutely no more hiding. Inside, you'll receive weekly accountability, rich conversations, and real-life tools to evaluate your income, your impact, and your inner world, all for just $149 a month with no lock-in contracts. So if you are serious about stepping into your rich lady identity, redefining success on your terms, and making meaningful money without losing yourself in the process, head over to www.those2sisters.au/membership, or come join the conversation on our Facebook page, The Rich Lady Revolution. Your next level isn't just calling, it's right here, waiting for you. Trust me, your future self will thank you for it.